Hey everybody, it's Michael Rosbrook here, also known as the Rosman. Welcome to this episode of the Tax Resolution Success Show, and really honored today to be interviewing Mr. Jaime Buchwald, who's the co-founder and CEO of Pitbull Tax Software, the premier software solution for the tax resolution industry. Jaime, welcome to the show.
Michael, thank you for those kind words. It's my honor to be here.
Great. So Jaime, you and I go back probably over 15 years, probably more like 20 years. We basically both started when this industry was born. So, I consider myself pioneers in the industry. But tell me, what does Pitbull Tax Software do? How did you start the business? Why did you start it? And what problem does it solve?
Okay. Well, why I started it was I had the problem that most successful firms have and had the reason for their demise. So let me explain that. So when we first met, you and we first met, I think your firm at the time had 6 people or 10 people, whatever. And I said, wow, this guy's really going places. I had no idea you would go with 120, 150 employees after that. But I said, give me just one tip to bring in clientele. I said, just one. And you did. Well, I got back, that was on a Thursday. I got back on Monday, implemented by the following Monday. Everything was full bore. And I had more business than anybody could handle. I was going between 3 conference rooms, meeting after meeting after meeting, signing up everybody. That was great, but now you have to get the work done, right? A lot of firms out there can bring it in, but they can't get the work done. That's when they get sued. That's when they go out of business. That's when they give the industry and this micro niche a very bad name. So I said, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be automation. There's got to be ways to keep track of everything. There has to be something to run the business. And that's how I came up with the idea, let's automate a tax resolution. And I named it Pitbull Tax. Why? When the IRS attacks, fight back. I trademarked that, and that's the genesis of the name Pitbull. And that's the reasoning behind setting up full automation, not just to get the forms and the resolutions to the IRS, but to run that practice so at every step where every case is at.
That's important. And Jaime, you also currently are a practicing practitioner, right? You have a tax resolution firm right now.
That's correct, Mike. At this point, I do have one, and I have to tell you, I'd say in the last couple of months, the IRS is coming back with an absolute vengeance. The only thing I could liken it to is I'm in Florida, as you know, but when we have major hurricanes, the IRS will go on hiatus and put a moratorium on any collection. So you could sit there for 3-4 months not doing anything. But once they lift it, man, you got to work 8 days a week just to keep up with the business. And that's what it's like right now. The cases are coming out of the woodwork, and the revenue offices are all rested up, charged up, and they're going at it with a vengeance.
Yeah, let's stay on that topic for a moment, because as you know, for the latest stats available, the Taxpayer Advocate Report to Congress, or the IRS data books, stats on income for 2019, 2020 isn't available yet. In 2019, levies, which are the physical seizure of people's paychecks and bank accounts, was up like 32% in 2019 over 18. And tax liens, the issuance of notices of federal tax liens were also up, not as much, but they were up 13%. And that's after years and years and years, as you know, of decline. So you're exactly right. Also, the IRS, I think in December, we're now in end of February, but a couple months ago, the IRS sent out like 2 million plus CP 504s, and now all the final notices are hitting. The 1058 letters. I call it the the bad boy. It's the one before they take your firstborn with regard to, your paycheck and your bank account. So we're seeing that too in our clientele and our membership, where a lot of people who have been marketing are seeing an increase in business. But we haven't spoke about what's looming on the horizon with all the economic devastation of COVID-19. I mean, take bankruptcy filings. Tax resolution and bankruptcy go hand in hand. I think we're going to see more bankruptcy filings in the next 12 months than we've ever seen before.
Oh, I absolutely agree with you. But for the tax resolution practitioner, the good news is with bankruptcies, you cannot bankrupt out of certain taxes. Okay, so forgetting the rules on income taxes or whatever, but the biggest part of a practice is the trust fund recovery penalty, the trust fund taxes. You cannot bankrupt out of that. And that, with all the changes and all the credits, first of all, nobody understands it.
Yep.
But when everybody gets where the rubber meets the road, that is going to be ripe for an escalation in business, the likes of which we have never seen.
I agree. And then what practitioners need to realize, that every payroll tax case is really two cases, two fees, because of the associated trust fund recovery penalty that they usually assess against the shareholder or multiple shareholders. So payroll tax cases, as you know, Jamie, it's, I've read online and in publications that it's predicted that 40% of small businesses have either closed or will close over the next few months due to the pandemic. And you guess what? They're all going to owe payroll taxes that are going to need to be paid or dealt with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, it's the businesses that are still in business, they're going to be even worse hit. But yeah, I just see a tidal wave or a tsunami coming, and it's great. Unfortunately, we thrive on people's misfortune when they get in trouble with the IRS. However, the good part of it is we help them.
Yep.
We help them get out of that misery so they could sleep at night, so they could basically get on with their life and get the IRS out of the, stop the nightmare. But again, I'm seeing right now, it's not just prognostication saying what's going to happen in the future. I am seeing these cases come out of the woodwork. The revenue officers are sending out summonses like they're candy. And where the hell are these summonses coming from? I said, well, we sent the document request back in February of 2020. I said, yeah, but there was a pandemic. Now you want to bring this before a judge if we don't give you the documents? That's what I'm saying. They're coming back with a vengeance because the pressure is on them from the top to start moving these cases.
Got it.
So, if they don't move the case, they start with severe enforcement activity. They clean out bank accounts. They take the wages. They do everything in their possible to get the taxpayers a pension, and then try to collect as fast as possible without any ramification for what happens to that particular taxpayer. So it's incumbent upon us to really protect that client or the potential client, so the IRS doesn't unjustly, hurt them.
So I want to get your take on this. So I'm predicting that practitioners who aren't doing resolution, let's say the ones who have, doing tax and accounting and bookkeeping and payroll or whatever, write up, that have a nice book of business, I'm predicting that a quarter to a third of at least their business clients are going to become tax resolution clients because of what we just spoke about. What would you suggest someone who wants to learn more about it or be able to service that client? They need to learn to service that client. We're not talking about, Jamie, doing paid advertising and going outside your database to get clients. I'm talking about practitioners that have a book of business now that their clients are suffering due to COVID-19. I mean, and a lot of practitioners, as you know, who don't know our world, think the work is miserable. And they think the work is miserable because they don't know how to charge for it. They don't realize there's a fortune in this business if it's, ran successfully and you charge successfully, etc. But what would you tell those practitioners who, they've heard about tax resolution for years, Jamie? They've been on your webinars, my webinars, they've been on other people's webinars. It's sitting right on their shoulder, but they haven't pulled the trigger or made the leap to actually learn this part of the tax space?
Well, I think first off, if they are saying, hey, this is miserable work, they're 100% wrong. But by not doing anything, they are being a disservice to their clientele, a total disservice. So I think it's incumbent upon them to get a little knowledge. And, unlike Mike, when you and I first started in the business, there was no education, very little marketing, and zero automation.
Yes.
So we started basically in a cave, like cavemen in this business. Today, there are so many resources available. I mean, if they want to start from scratch, they could go with your program and become successful very, very quickly. But for those who just are using their book of business, I mean, our software will walk them through. It's like having me and my staff on your shoulder, walking you through every piece of that case with our Pitbull tips, with our evaluation resolution, with all our case-by-case workflow. Basically, we sit and hold your hand. It's like putting training wheels on yourself. And I got to tell you, the work is not miserable. For me, compliance work is a drudgery.
Yeah.
Look at it. What are you doing? You're trying to go back and record history. Here, you're absolutely helping a client go forward and create a new life when the IRS has just tied them up in knots.
Exactly.
So I think it's very lucrative, and it's very, it just makes you feel good. It's just incredible when you help somebody.
What have you seen on the practitioner landscape due to COVID-19, and not so much from a resolution standpoint, but in general? Have they changed how they operate? Are they not seeing clients? And by the way, tax resolution really lends itself to conducting a virtual or remote practice in a lot of cases. But what are you seeing on the landscape?
Well, just like you, I'm fortunate because I see thousands of practitioners, exactly what they're doing. I mean, within our software, I could see what's happening. But I could tell you this, we have more practitioners today on our platform than we did before COVID. And why? Look at it this way. Today we are in a remote and virtual world. Totally. I mean, when we started Pitbull in 2010, we started as a cloud-based program. That scared the hell out of me because nobody was cloud-based at the time. So we were one of the first ones to go cloud-based, which means you could work from anywhere. Your staff could work from anywhere. With our case management, somebody could be in Iowa, somebody could be in New Jersey, you could be in Florida, you could be in Studio City like yourself. You could be anywhere and handle a totally remote and virtual practice. Going with your clients, we have all the tools necessary. We have questionnaires you can send to a client, and as they're working on it, you see them working on it and help them out right on your computer. Okay, we do it in English and Spanish for business and for personal. We have portals, secure portals, unlimited document storage, anything you need to work that remote and virtual practice today. So I could tell you that seeing what's happening, we have more interest and more practitioners who are now licensees of Pitbull Tax because of COVID and what's going to come forward.
Yeah, we're seeing also a large uptick in demand for marketing services as well, with regard to practitioners wanting to get into tax resolution,
right,
and also expanding what they already do. A lot of practitioners, as you know, Jamie, are reluctant sometimes to start a tax resolution practice or even market to their database because they're afraid of messing up. They're afraid of making a mistake. And, a lot of times I talk about, having a client who owes $75,000, has 4 years of unfiled returns, is being levied by their employer. There's not a lot of things a practitioner can do to make that worse. As a matter of, they can't make it worse. They're so afraid sometimes of getting into this work. They don't realize it's such a small leap from their, if they're credentialed already and they're doing tax, it's a small leap to learn the tax resolution ins and outs. Yeah, it's not something you're going to get overnight, but if you're going to be expert at anything, it takes, hours and hours and hours of practice, and practice meaning working on cases.
Yeah, also, and I agree, you can't screw up somebody who's so screwed up. Worst thing you do, and what else are you going to do? Shoot the guy?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but, again, with the platform that we built, we take you through, put in the information, we take you through what the evaluation, what the resolution should be, the step-by-step workflow. What do you do? This is what you got to do next. Basically, I'm holding your hand. So, when you and I started out, I'll say this, we had nothing. We had a pencil, a
Yep.
paper, and a calculator. That
Yep.
was it. But now with the automation, with the marketing that you have, the education that's available, you provide tremendous education. We have our Pitbull Tax Institute, which is going stronger than ever right now, because people want to learn not just the nuts and bolts of resolution, but how to put that in with the automation and how to marry the two. So everything is available, not to mention how lucrative it is compared to compliance work.
Yeah.
Or just bookkeeping and accounting, which to me is an absolute drudgery. I remember when I first started and got out of college, I was working for Deloitte, and I found myself sitting there at the ripe old age of 22, counting how many months I could retire in, because it was so miserable.
Yep.
So resolution is like, you can't wait for the next day because you can't wait for that phone to ring,
Yep.
what that next potential client's going to present you with, and how you're going to solve that problem.
Yeah. Well, the tax resolution is white hot right now, and it's probably one of the biggest things that's actually growing in the tax space with regard to compliance going the other way, with all the do-it-yourselfers and everything else. And, like you mentioned, if anyone is listening to this podcast who's a CPA, an enrolled agent, or an attorney, and you're thinking about getting into tax resolution and doing more of it, you have all these tools available to you today. We offer some free resources at rozstrategies.com, which is rozstrategies.com. Jamie's company, which is pitbulltax.com. Jamie, is that the website?
Pitbulltax.com, correct.
Jamie has free resources. If you need marketing and sales support and conversion support and automation support with how to actually track the cases and evaluate your cases, you got it here. Between us two, there's no way you can fail. We've put in a safety net for you, so there's no. Our success, and I'm sure you're the same way, Jamie, but our company's success is based on your success. If you're a practitioner, we only want to see you successful.
Absolutely. Listen, when it makes me very proud when I see a practitioner who signed up with us, and now they started with one case,
Yep.
Then they had 10 cases, then they had 100 cases. We have clients with 10,000 cases in the system.
Wow.
You just see them growing and growing and growing, and they could not do it without the automation. They just could not handle that kind of workload.
Right. They couldn't do it without the marketing either if they're growing.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, no, believe me, you need the marketing to bring it into the system.
Yes.
So, you can't ignore one for the benefit of the other. It just doesn't work. Doesn't work. As I said, when I came up with the idea of Pitbull, it was based on your marketing ideas that you gave me. And you were a practitioner at the time. You weren't in the marketing space.
Right.
But listen, I got so busy based on the marketing advice you gave me that, listen, I funded Pitbull. I couldn't do it just based on my good looks, So I needed the money to come from somewhere.
Jamie, thank you. Jamie, what would you say? What are the attributes of someone who off the bat, after meeting them and speaking with them, who will be successful in this niche? What type of practitioner are the ones who embrace resolution and actually want to make a change and do this type of work?
Well, they all have the same characteristics. Okay. Number one, biggest thing, they're investing in themselves. They're investing in their education.
Yep.
They're investing in the marketing. They are investing in the automation. But they also implement. They
Yeah.
just don't invest. They implement. And when something doesn't work as planned, they shift. They make that paradigm shift to the next thing that may work. And eventually it clicks. And when it clicks big. But there's people who say, you know what, I can't attend this course. I don't have an extra couple $100. I can't buy software because this. And I say to them, look, I said, if you're serious about a business, would you go to a surgeon who's not going to invest in surgical instruments until he gets his first surgical case? I mean, it's ridiculous. You have to know. You have to get the marketing in place. You have to get the automation. And you know what? Education is so important. This industry, this particular niche, changes constantly.
Yep.
And there's so much free stuff. Your podcasts, your webinars, we're constantly doing them. There's other services who put on, organizations who put on excellent ones. You don't have to spend a fortune. You got to spend the time, a little money, okay, invest in yourself, and then just implement. Don't say, I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes.
Yeah, I think the biggest, you hit on something really, really well. People ask me as they're getting into the business and they go, I need help, Mike. I need help with the cases. Let's say they already have Pitbull Tax. I need help with the cases, but I don't know, I don't know if I want to bring somebody in. And, I tell people the following, the best time to invest in, besides investing in yourself, the best time to invest in headcount or a coach is when you can least afford it. That is the best time to actually invest, because it's a funny thing how putting someone on the payroll or hiring a coach motivates you to bring in the cases, to bring in the revenue, to not only pay for that, but to also improve your life. I mean, Jamie, you like me, I'm a big, and along with my business partner and wife, Rosalind, we're a big believer in investing in ourselves. If I didn't, you and I wouldn't be on this podcast right now. So, anyone listening, if the biggest takeaway from this podcast is, the best investment you can make is in yourself. And that's through education and implementation to learn something new that will change your life. And not only change your life, but you're going to be saving people's financial lives. I mean, the intrinsic value you get from saving somebody's butt from the IRS, I can't describe it. I mean, as you know, you can't describe that feeling. Each case is different. Each client is different. Each solution, there's a lot of the same solutions, but each resolution is different.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? Again, you don't have to know everything, because you can't know everything. I don't care if you've been in this business 40 years, you're still not going to know everything. The secret is knowing where to go to get the answer. Yep. And that's what investing in yourself is, investing in marketing, investing in software, the whole gamut. You at least know where to go, where to look, who to ask, through masterminds or groups or webinars or calling the company. Hey, how do I do this? I'm a little stuck, blah, blah, blah. It shaves years off the learning curve. Absolutely years.
So Jamie, if someone wants to learn more about Pitbull Tax, where should they go to look at some webinars or special reports, or where should someone go if they're thinking about this business?
They could go to pitbulltax.com or just call us up at 1-877-4-PITBULL. And we'd be more than happy to talk to them. More than happy. We bend over backwards. We go so far beyond what a customer service would do, or at an advanced level. What we really want, just like you said, we want to make our constituency very, very successful, because it makes us successful.
Exactly. Yeah, we're the same mindset. So, Jamie, any last parting words with regard to predictions or mythbusters with regard to the tax resolution industry? What do you see coming down the pike for the next year, 2 years, 3 years? Will they ever automate tax resolution like they have with compliance?
Well, automate, the IRS?
Yes, the IRS automate.
Oh, I've been trying to sell my software for a long time. I don't know. No, when you look at it, Mike, they're still on legacy systems from the 1980s. So, It's funny. I mean, pre-COVID, when you would go with an RO, you would see them sitting on a half-broken chair with a broken pencil filling out a 433A, right? Which is the information collection form. Do I see it? I don't see that as a high priority for the IRS right now. They they are back in the old days still, with computer technology and everything else. So I don't see it. But as far as the way I see the future, I see it so rosy, so robust. What I do see also is I see a lot of people coming out of the woodwork saying, we're going to do resolution. We're going to do, they advertise a little bit, they get a few cases, they screw them up because they don't invest in themselves. They don't invest in what they need to. They're out of business.
Mhm.
So even though, and this is so important for the practitioner, once you learn about resolution, all of a sudden your auditory acuity, your ears perk up, and everywhere you go or everything, you hear a radio ad for tax resolution. You see a TV ad. Believe me, there's not as many firms or people doing it as you think. You and I know exactly how many people
Right.
are doing it, right? But the workload out there is so immense that even though you think there's millions of people doing it, and I could tell you there's thousands, not millions.
Right. There's about,
There is so much work out there. It's not
yeah,
even funny.
we did a little research on this, and we figured there's between 4,500 to 5,000 sole proprietors and small firms who are offering or marketing tax resolution services in any meaningful way. Okay, contrast that to right now, there's 11, well, I shouldn't say right now, but the last time the IRS took the measurement, there were 11.2 million people in the collection division of the IRS. In other words, 11.2 million people the IRS already identifies as having a major tax problem. That doesn't count all the people who are going to be coming in to the collection division due to COVID-19 and all the economic devastation. I think we're going to see about 20 million collection cases, formal collection cases, by the end of 2021. So you have 20 million people who need professional representation and about 5,000 practitioners offering this help. There's way, way, way more demand than there is supply. So now really is the opportune time to start and get into this business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just because you think that the market's saturated, it's
not.
it's not.
Not even close.
Not even close. It's a speck on an elephant.
Yeah, people ask me all the time, Mike, what about all these firms I hear on the radio? Like all the big boys, all these big national firms. I don't think I should go up against them. And I go, you're not going up against them at all. As a matter of fact, they're actually helping you, because their message is making the general public aware that resolution services exist in the first place.
Right.
And I got news for you. A client in your local area would much rather go to their local CPA, EA, or an attorney than call some impersonal firm on an 800 number 10 states away. So those people you hear on the radio and TV don't hurt you as much as they actually help you gain awareness and gain business in this industry.
They are paving the education way to your clientele and your potential clientele. So that they've already done the heavy lifting for you. So thank them very much. And believe me, like you said, people want those who are in their locale. It used to be they want to sit face to face with somebody, but you know what? As long as they know you're within 20, 30, 50 miles, they have some comfort.
Exactly.
So,
well, this has been great, Jamie. Appreciate your time today. This has been really, really informative and helpful. And I know
Mike, I have a gift for everybody and anybody listening to this podcast. If they want a very nice discount on Pitbull Tax Software, use the code ROZBIZ, ROZBIZ, and we'll be more than happy to give you a very nice discount and get you up and running very quickly and very affordably.
Excellent. Thank you, Jamie. Yeah. And anyone who wants to check us out, just go to ROZ Strategies, that's plural.com. We have some free resources on the website. Jamie just made a very generous offer. Take them up on it. And we'll see everybody on the next podcast of the Tax Resolution Success Show. Thank you very much, Jamie. We'll see you soon.
Okay, Mike. Bye-bye.
Hey, Michael Rosberg here, the Rosman, the tax resolution guy. Go check out my podcast, the Tax Resolution Success Show, on Apple or Google. Subscribe, or you can go to my website, rawstrategies.com, and go to the podcast page. It's a great show. Hope you subscribe. I'll see you there.